Hello everyone! Thank you for tuning in to my artist presentation. My name is Marie Horne and I study photography at the University of North Florida. I am a senior and I will be graduating this coming May, spring of 2023. Let's dive into my background and upbringing. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, but I spent most of my childhood traveling to the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. Because of this, I have a mixture of city life and natural life. I work in a variety of different types of photography, including documentary, event, and fine art photography. My love for photography began when I was in elementary school. My parents gave me my first disposable camera to go crazy with. This was right before one of our trips to Tennessee, and I was able to take pictures of the natural world around me. From there, I joined photo classes and clubs such as 4-H, and it has stuck with me ever since. For my inspiration, I believe a lot of my inspiration comes from my upbringing. Most of my art revolves around either women's rights issues or the natural world around me. Growing up in an all-female household taught me a lot about being a woman in today's society. I am thankful that I was taught to not limit myself due to being a female. With that being said, I am a huge fan of history. I believe my passion for the women's rights movement in photography flourished when I took a women's studies course my freshman year of college. I was an exploratory major and I was still trying to figure out my path. During this time, I learned about some inspiring photographers. This course sparked my interest in pursuing photography as a career. As for my artist inspirations, I think Margaret Wright and Francesca Woodman. Margaret Wright was a documentary photographer known for being one of the first female photojournalists to work for Life magazine. Her work inspired my love for documentary photography. I find her images impactful, especially her series documenting combat zones during World War II. As for Francesca Woodman, she was a fine art photographer during the 1980s. She was known for exploring the female figure. I became fascinated with her work and concepts, and I have even incorporated some of her techniques in my work today. A book I highly recommend everyone reading is Women in the Dark: Female Photographers in the U.S. This book discusses the different techniques in photography, along with history and some pretty spectacular photographers. If you love learning about history or photography, this book is for you. Now, on to my process. I enjoy working with models in my work. Since I work with a lot of models, I must overly prepare for my photo shoots. Models can be flaky, so when they do show up, I try to utilize every second of their time. I always come up with a detailed list of what I want each photo to look like, and all the way down to my props, setting, lighting, and angles. I tend to sketch out my work, and most of the time I do test photo shoots without models to make sure I like the setting and lighting. This makes the process go by faster, so I'm not wasting anyone's time. And as for editing in Photoshop, I do use Photoshop often for some digital collages. I tend to use Photoshop a lot for my projects, and this is because I work with a lot of at-home based settings and in public, and most of the time I need to remove distracting objects, and if I'm working outside I need to fix the lighting. Since we live in Florida, the lighting is unpredictable. Now on to my themes and concepts. I enjoy taking portraits of people around me, but specifically pet portraits are what I find myself doing most often. I currently work at the Humane Society, where I am their primary photographer. Here, I get to explore my love for animals and photography at the same time. Another theme that I find myself exploring is Riverside in the downtown Jacksonville area, which is the neighborhood I grew up in. I believe Jacksonville is a very artistic place with a lot of unique features I like to capture. I find myself documenting significant places in my life. Now on to my current body of work. Currently, I am working on a series about social injustice issues women go through. I enjoy exploring subjects based around women, so I decided to create a series capturing different social issues women face today. It focuses on different social issues I have seen throughout my life as a female. These issues include women's reproductive rights and the concerns surrounding this in today's society. It also discusses domestic violence and sexual assault. I've been working with women at the Women's Center in Jacksonville and different women who have gone through these issues to ensure I am portraying an accurate representation of these issues. These are topics I am passionate about, and I hope to inspire others when it comes to addressing these difficult topics that no one likes to think about. As for my future plans, photography is definitely a career path for me. My goal is to start a small business in family portraits and event photography. I currently work in the commercial side of photography in my current job, but I plan on being independent one day. Secondly, I plan on going to graduate school soon and pursuing photography further. I am looking at different programs now, but it is at the top of my list to complete. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening.